Hello, friends. Good morning, good afternoon. How are you? Bears fans, football fans, sports fans. If this is your first time, please, if you like the content, subscribe, leave me a thumbs up, leave a comment. Any thoughts or criticism, I'm open to it. Welcome to have you. I'm glad you're here. Victor, Chicago Bears podcast. We are heading into, some talks. Wrote down some of my thoughts for what's been going on in the last week. Usually I do a post-game reaction for after a game, win or lose, which everyone knows we're on a 8-game losing streak. We are tied now with the second worst all-time and the first. The first, of course, is the 14-game win streak, but we'll get into those later. So, step by step, we're going to talk about truth and accountability. This channel is about truth and accountability, first and foremost. And that's where I'm going to keep it. We've been thinking about where we're going to go with this channel, and truth and accountability must be the foundation. And that includes me, myself. Please, in the comments, be kind, be respectful, but let me know if I've misspoke, if I've said something wrong. Truth and accountability is important in every relationship, friends. And I want to say my thanks to you, the new subscribers. I feel indebted to you guys for subscribing. I want to say thank you by holding myself accountable and trying to keep it truthful at all times. You may not like the truth, but it's still going to be the truth nonetheless. And when I'm wrong, I will apologize and correct myself. The proof is in the pudding, my good friends. Thank you for coming. So some huge news to talk about. Please stick around, because at the end of this, I'm going to be breaking down the huge news that has broken. It's not the biggest news of all, but it is nonetheless an important topic to talk about with the Bears. So no point in going over games anymore for the rest of the season. I predict we lose out every game for the rest of the season. So we lost terribly. That's all you need to know. And I believe it was 33-12, whatever it was. Again, we struggle in first half. In the starting of the last game, I believe it was 52-0. Teams outscore us in the first half in 2 games. So we've had this problem throughout the entire season that we don't get started in the first half. And now, if you're looking for the podcast that is always glass half full all the time, regardless of the bad that's going on, this may not be the place for you. This is going to be, truth, ugly or not or pretty. That's where I think this needs to be. And I think that's the key to success. And also, I would like to do videos based on requests. That's a direction I want to go on. What would you guys like me to do? And what kind of videos you guys would like to see? And that's what I'll do for the fans. So we are actually together in this season. There's a lot of unanimous things, whether you want to realize it or not. If you're a fan, we as a collective are losing. It's a losing fan base. We are fighting amongst ourselves over the quarterback of last year versus the quarterback of this year, and the woulda, shoulda, couldas. What we woulda, shoulda, coulda done, yes, there's valid arguments on all sides. There's valid. So we don't like to invalidate anyone. There's good points to be made on both sides. And in football, if you're diving deep enough, you understand multiple truths can exist in the same box. We're going to get to that in a minute. So we overwhelmingly agree that firing the head coach was a good idea. And the OC, Shane Waldron, was a good idea. This is the majority consensus. There may be some that say, beggars can't be choosers. I mean, it's wild concepts. To me, it's wild, my opinion, that it was a good idea to keep a coach that holds the worst one-game, one-score record in NFL history. The worst, Matt Eberflus. No coach in NFL history has hit such lows. As a GM, we'll get to worse stats. This is just the facts, friends. We'll get to this in a minute. These things that we had to do, whether it was a right decision to fire Eberflus or to even bring him on in the first place, has consequences for everyone, for fans, for YouTubers like us, Independent, bigger, there's always consequences. It's a systemic consequences. So this is what this is. Firing OC midseason and all this, consequences are loss of revenue, loss of interest, lowers culture for future, gives players lack of inspiration. They're regressing. Gives me nothing to talk about. No offense, no defense, boring videos. Changing the way I do the channel in future, possibility. I do more teams. My favorite of the two teams are the Ravens and the Steelers. We may go in that direction. Let me know in the comments. Ryan Poles has the longest losing streak in Bears history, 14, the 2022 to 2023 season. One more win, and he will hold sole possession of first and second place. Tough to hear from the man that said to us, we're going to take the North and never give it back. It's very tough words from a man that spoke so boldly about what was going to happen. He blew up the team. He got rid of all our studs on defense. We had the worst defense, if you remember. Justin Fields' first year, his rookie year, was rewarded with the worst defense in the league. Remember this. And do you remember how many times Justin Fields got sacked? His first game as a rookie, it was almost 9 times against the Browns. He was sacked. Does this sound familiar? Does any of this connecting the dots? Because this is about connecting the dots. Caleb Williams is by far the most sacked quarterback in the league. Yes, he is holding that ball too damn long. Multiple things can exist at the same time. We're going to get to this. He needs to get rid of that ball. There's too many unknowns, okay? With the owners, George McCaskey is the worst. He gets in the way. It's beyond compare to understand at the levels that this team dysfunctions. The ownership from the top. This is systemic, my good friends. Systemic. This is not pessimism. This is the facts. We haven't won a game since early October. These aren't pessimistic views. These are just the facts. Okay? This general manager is going to have, with one more loss, the top 2 longest losing streaks in franchise history. So we are literally, we're living history right now that the Bears have never hit this low. Never hit this rock bottom state. This is where we're at. This is the facts. It's what it is. What can be could be fantastic. It can be. All depending on what George McCaskey and Kevin Warren do. Question is, where do we go from here? We will likely lose out because we have no experienced winners anywhere in the building. The 4 coaches that are leading, Thomas Brown and his assistants, his crew below him, these guys have experience in college, through the NFL. There's experience there. But none of these guys know what it does, what it takes. Thomas Brown, I liked him. I liked him as an offensive coordinator. But as a head coach, this man will not be our future head coach. It will not happen. That's a guarantee. You can put that, hold me to that one. It will not happen. They're going to find an offensive-minded head coach who has experience. Simply put, no winners. 2 truths can exist. Yes, Caleb Williams is playing awful. This channel will not make excuses for no one, especially not ownership or the quarterbacks. Especially. I'll always be a little bit lenient on defenses. Because defenses, usually it's always the offensive coordinator. All the players on defense are studs. These are the best of the best. These are not college players. These are players that are from the elite. All throughout the NFL. The defensive coordinator matters greatly, friends. So, can he be fixed? Yes, he can. He has talent. And he can be a serious threat in this league if paired up with the right marriage of a head coach and OC. This is huge. Maybe Thomas Brown will get put back to offensive coordinator and we'll find our head coach. It has to be a marriage. We'll get to that. Clickbait is ridiculous, but yes, the look of him on the bench like he's going to die, it looks like he's taking a nap for a second. The freeze frames, he's not taking a nap. The freeze frames makes it look worse than it really was. He's getting killed out there. He's getting killed. Some of it by his own fault. He is stuck on a bad habit, and there's no coach on there. If I was head coach, I'd say, you hold the ball like that again, and I'm benching you. You need a hard, serious head coach. You put that man in his place, you're going to see. The guy that can check Caleb Williams and put him in his place, Caleb will be dangerous. A man that he can respect. Caleb is looking for a man that he can respect. I'm going on instinct right here. That's my instinct. He's a young man. I could be his father. He needs a leader. I know, because I've been a good leader and a bad leader all my life. I know about this. I've done mistakes and great things. So I know from the best to the worst, I understand what he needs. You learn from your own mistakes. This man needs a leader. Not a leader of men. A leader who knows how to win. So, beyond ignorant, I'm not going to address the nail polish, the cosmetics. We're not going to address that on this channel. This is irrelevant, stupid, it's dumb. We're not going to go down that road anymore. We're not going to address it in the comments. It is beyond me. 2 words, Dennis Rodman, case closed. Man was dangerous. In his rookie year under a poorly run organization, things like this happen. Things like this happen. Bad habits get worse. Many quarterbacks, Peyton Manning threw 28 interceptions his rookie year. The man's a Hall of Famer. 28. Caleb Williams will likely finish the season with 20 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. Yes. Is he playing scared? You could say yes. Fearful. But he is not playing scared because he does take risks down the field. He does. He is running around, looking downfield. He has PTSD. And the Bears might have broken him. He can be fixed. He can. That's the big possibility. He could. No players on this team are thriving. That tells me everything. Put your thinking caps on. No player is thriving right now. Cole Kmet, sorry guys, not to be rude, but his podcast, it's every look back from week 1 to week 14. We didn't come out fast in the first half. All year long, he says the same things. We didn't come out fast in the first half. We need to play better. We need to execute. No results. And that includes him. That includes Cole Kmet. So forgive me if you're looking for this, like to praise Cole Kmet for dropping balls, for committing penalties, for only being targeted once in a while. Maybe he's not open. Maybe he is. But I know it's not all Cole Kmet's fault. But he shares part of the blame too. But then he's on the podcast saying the same thing week after week. People are checked out. Read the comments. Read the comments on his channel. People are checked out. And there's a few, very few, that are just like, way to go, Cole. Way to go, we got you, buddy. Hey, if you want to praise the losing situation, we can do that too. But we're going to look at things straight and real. So, no players on this team are thriving. Bad, like I haven't seen since Trestman era. This is worse than Trestman era, by far, friends. There's a lot to go over here. There's a lot. This season proved that Ryan Poles was clueless. The organization was clueless. The organization made bold moves. They put all this millions of dollars on Keenan Allen, re-signed Moore, spent a lot of money on the wide receivers, but didn't decide to. They're like, yeah, we're good. We're good with this offensive line. We're good. We got this. We got this. No, you didn't. You're not, this guy's not being protected. You can see it. Sometimes this man is anywhere from like 4 or 5 seconds. He does have time when he scrambles out. From when that ball's hiked, sometimes he has 1.5 seconds, and they're on him like white on rice in a snowstorm. So just reflect the ignorance and arrogance. This is where this comes from. On the part of Ryan Poles, ownership that does not know football. I'm a fan. By his own admission, he's like, I'm a fan. It's ridiculous. My question is, what are the solutions? Solutions. That's what we're here for. We're here for solutions. We're just not here to bash. We're here to say the truth, what is happening, and what are we going to do about it. So I don't want to hear anything about pessimism or negative Nancy. We're looking for solutions. If you got the answer, maybe somebody will see this video. Maybe I can get something out from the brains out there. You tell me what to say. You tell me. I'm giving you my opinion. Maybe someone out there has got a better idea. I'll give you what I think. So the obvious is a proven leader with backing of success in turning things around. That's what we need. Not another Nagy situation. The big news, if you've stuck around to this video at this point, the big news is Dan Wieder, a reliable source, broke news that Poles chose Eberflus because he'd be the least combative about the roster. This is huge. A differential head coach who wouldn't make waves or meddle or be confrontational. So paranoid about having to battle head coach about roster construction that he let it bleed into who he chose for the job. Dan Quinn and Jim Caldwell were options. Super Bowl experience. He chose the weakest one, Eberflus, because he didn't want confrontation. He was on the cusp of being fired, Eberflus, by the Indianapolis Colts. Poles picked him up. A yes man for the job. Poles picked a yes man for the job. And that's where we're at. That's where we're at. Word is around the league, if coach does not want to work with Ryan Poles, he may be let go. If coach says, no, I don't want to work with this guy, Ryan's gone. That's the word. That's the word. It's all crazy. It's backwards. Things should be lined up. GM picks their head coach. They get along. They chose each other. It's a mutual marriage, like a marriage. A real marriage is when one spouse and one partner can tell the other, you know what, you're wrong. And the other one can say, you know what, you're right, I was wrong. That's what I'd like to make it with this channel. A marriage where I can admit that I'm wrong and you can politely tell me that I am or not. So that's where this is where this channel is going. They need to understand the Chicago and its fan base. They need to know the fan base because we are tough. We are tough cookies, let me tell you. We're passionate, yet aggressive, and we're exhausted. We're exhausted. No playoff win for how many years now? 13? Haven't seen the playoffs for 6. Super Bowl win, 39 years. We're exhausted. To take accountability, when to make the moves to clean up the mess left by the predecessors. That's where we're at, my friends. That's what we got. What are we going to do? This is a way longer video than I hoped I would make, but I hoped it was organized. I hoped I stayed clear. I tried to stay to my notes, stick on script of what I had thought. These are my thoughts that I put on paper, give to you guys. Let me know in the comments what I missed. What solutions do we have for this team? Real deep. I want deep stuff. I don't want hate on the quarterback. Get rid of the quarterback. We got to go deep. Caleb's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere for a minimum of 3 years. So what are we going to do in that box in that time? Let's get into the nitty gritty. Let's have some fun. You guys, God bless. Have a great weekend. Hope to see you soon. Take care. And we will drop a video later in the week for the upcoming game next Sunday. Bye-bye.